Hello you guys, welcome back to Channel Claire. I hope that you're doing so well wherever you are in this crazy world. So I know somebody that on this Tuesday afternoon, they are probably have a knot in their chest. They are probably very anxious and unsettled because Karen Huger of Real Housewives of Potomac has to go back to court tomorrow where she will be sentenced. This is major. She is not the first housewife to go to jail, but when I think of Karen going to jail, like, I just can't see it. You know what I mean? Jen Shah's in jail. Yes, we know. Teresa went to jail. Yes, we know. Who else went to jail? Probably another one in there. And even Martha Stewart has gone to jail. So, like, I believe she can do it, but like me thinking about the Karen Huger, the Grand Dame in jail, like my brain is just not computing. In jail trial ever. I mean, yes, what she did was horrific because now it turns out that Karen didn't have just one DUI, not two DUIs. Let's say it's been reported and exposed that it's been 4. She has had 4 incidences with drinking and driving, and it's inexcusable. I don't want to see somebody go to jail, but I understand it. And in this case, 4 times of you driving while drinking, where you can harm yourself and most importantly, others who are just going about their life, trying to get from point A to point B, and then here you come fucked up, knowing you shouldn't be in the car because you've done this multiple times and have gotten in trouble prior multiple times, and yet you do it again. Karen obviously has an issue. She obviously has an issue. So along with it coming out that she has 4 incidences with drinking and driving, it also comes out that little stint she had in rehab, quote unquote, as to why she didn't show up at the reunion and did a whole sit down saying she's gone away and she's taking care of herself and this, that, and another, conveniently right before she's going to get sentenced, trying to get sympathy, of course, and some leniency. But apparently it comes out that this wasn't even really a rehab. It was more like a luxury resort. So Karen more so went on a vacation. It's not like she went to some facility where, you know, they take your phone, they're testing your piss and, you know, doing all that I don't think that's the type of place she went to. So, this is, I just don't have positive thoughts going into tomorrow with Karen's sentencing. I would hope that her, legal team and her advisors are, I guess, warning her in a way, or just like getting her prepared for a very possible outcome that she could be going to jail. And I don't know how it works, if it's like once she gets sentenced she's gonna go straight to jail, like she doesn't even have a chance to like go home, or if it's a thing where she will be sentenced, she gets to go home and they give her a report date. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But it's not looking good for Karen. I'm just hoping that her counsel is preparing her for a very likely outcome. I think I read that the prosecutor is wanting 6 months. In the grand scheme of things, for 4 incidences with drinking and driving, that's not bad, but it's still 6 months in jail. Nobody wants to be in jail. Now, I will say Jen Shah, her time has been getting cut. Every time I turn around, it's like they've taken time off of her sentence for good behavior. So I think Jen Shah is due back next year sometime to get out. But Karen, I mean, I just hope that they're prepping her. I hope that there's some type of about to go to jail course, what you should know 101. I don't fucking know, but I hope she's not going into this situation thinking that she's going to beat this. But given the fact that she's been, quite frankly, delusional throughout this whole process, especially getting up on the show saying that, oh, she's going to be vindicated, you'll see, we need to treat her lightly, or whatever the hell she said. And then it turns out in these videos that she was trashed. She even said to the officer as they're taking her in that she's lit. And they're like, yeah, that's why you're here. Excuse me. But she's been very delusional throughout this whole process. So I'm like, in my mind, does Karen think that she's going to beat this and that they're going to give her some type of leniency? And especially given this latest news that I'm going to share with you, I don't think Karen's thinking really and trying to take accountability for what she's done, because if she really realized what she's done and the danger she put others in driving that fucked up from the video that we saw, she would humble herself and say, you know what, I did this shit, and I did this shit 4 times. It's not even her first time. I'm gonna serve the time and I'm gonna do right because I know that I was wrong. I'm taking accountability and I'm gonna handle my shit. And that's it. She's still trying to act like she deserves some type of leniency. And that, to a judge, I'm sure is not going to fare well. They might want to give her the max because she's just not getting it. Driving that fucked up, it's not only that you can hurt yourself, you could hurt others. And then you're taking people away from, their loved ones. It's just like, I couldn't imagine living with that. People who, because often the drunk driver survives and it's the other people like who are in the car with them or whoever they hit that passes. That's survivor guilt for me would just be beyond. But Karen's not getting it. So this is what she has to say, given everything that we've seen on that body cam footage of her being fucked up. Okay, so this is what Karen has to say the day before her sentencing. This is from In Touch, okay? So apparently Karen Huger is asking the judge to go soft on her at her sentencing tomorrow and argues that the stress of her losing parents and having to provide responsible leadership or RHOP led her to take more antidepressants, which she believes played a role in her DUI. Her lawyers also reveal she woke up drenched in sweat from withdrawals of antidepressants just days after taking her last dose. I did not realize that withdrawals from antidepressants were that drastic and like you have to be weaned off it in that way. I will say losing parents is, I do not even have the words. I don't even want to think about it. I'm not even going to be well. I understand that being absolutely soul-crushing and devastating, and I have so much empathy because I believe Karen has lost both of her parents. My heart goes out to her. It really, really does, but it does not excuse drinking and driving, and especially 4 times over. Like, it doesn't. And then the part of saying that you were having to have leadership on a show, she's now blaming Potomac for a part of this, and because she had to what did she say, provide responsible leadership, and that was putting her under stress. But then you didn't provide responsible leadership because you were drinking and driving, so you did the exact opposite of what you were trying to do. This is just so, I don't like any of this. I'm sad for Karen. I'm disappointed in this situation. I try not to judge people because, like, who am I to judge? But this being 4 times, I just feel like I don't feel like that they're going to give her leniency and grace that she's asking for. I just don't see it. This article really goes on to detail Karen's struggles, and it really talks about how her parents passed very close to each other, 7 months in between, which is just, that is just a hard go of it. Like, that's just terrible. But Karen is 61. Like, she should know better. She should beyond know better. And this is her 4th time. She's had 3 prior instances with DUIs. Let's see what else was in here. So it's saying in this newly filed motion that Karen's mother died on Thanksgiving morning, of kidney failure and sepsis. Then her father died 7 months later in 2018 from complications of Alzheimer's. Due to this, she's had a broken heart with these 2 losses back to back. So she's been devastated. Her lawyers are pointing out. Karen said that she saw herself on the body cam footage. Her demeanor and coordination, she had suffered a concussion from the exploding airbags along with the alcohol and medication. She reports that she was shocked with embarrassment. I'm glad that, at least that's some type of feeling, because I haven't seen Karen take accountability for this. I haven't. It's just, I don't want to say it's excuses, but at a certain point she has to say, look, yes, I've been going through X, Y, and Z, but I was wrong. I did this. I'm going to take ownership of my actions. I'm going to do my time. And that's just it. And maybe through that, she'll get more leniency, falling on your sword. Where did it go? So she did not testify in the trial. For many months, Karen was hoping to explain that she believes she drank in moderation. However, her difficulties that evening were the product of a combination of alcohol and prescribed antidepressants. However, Ms. Huger eventually acquiesced to the legal advice of her counsel, indicating that such circumstances might be mitigation, but it is not a defense. It's not, unfortunately for her. This is because the taking of such a strong antidepressant medication can amplify the effects of alcohol on one's coordination. The taking of that prescribed medication is not a defense to DUI. On the contrary, it is more of a reason to avoid consuming alcohol before driving, they said. And I think it says that on the bottle, do not consume with alcohol. If you do, you could have impaired vision, gives all the side effects. Karen. So she reports that she started taking the prescribed dosages of the medication following her R word in college. I didn't know that. I'm really sorry to hear that. She felt she was able to continue to drink in moderation in social settings. However, over time, the loss of her parents and the pressure of being in the public eye and the stress of providing responsible leadership on the TV show continued to wear on her well-being. I just don't feel like these reasons, I don't want to call them excuses, but really that's what it is. I don't think the judge is going to care, because if we're being real, there are people who deal with these things that Karen are talking about, and they still don't drink and drive. And they don't do it and get caught, not 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times, but 4 times. So she was taking 1 pill after the assault, and then began taking 2 after her parents' death. She appears to be in control and had no noticeable issues that she was aware of. And that's what she felt the night of her arrest. Apparently, she went to dinner with a friend and had champagne with dinner. The way Karen was acting didn't seem like just a glass of champagne off some antidepressants. I'm so sorry. And there was unopened Stellas in the back. No, I think they were actually opened, if I'm remembering correctly, but there was Stellas in the back of her car. This article keeps jumping. I don't know why. So that's why you keep seeing me, keep hearing me pause, because it just keeps jumping. So she says that the trial was a wake-up call that inspired her to go to a 28-day inpatient rehabilitation program, beachside in West Palm Beach. Sounds very nice. Just beachside, West Palm. That sounds like a vacation to me. The court is probably familiar with dual diagnosis treatment programs. Karen refers to her time at Beachside as a triple diagnosis program dedicated to treating alcohol abuse, drug, medication abuse, and trauma. Karen took her last dose of the medication on December 28th, the night before she checked into her residential program. She reports that 4 nights later, she woke up completely drenched in sweat as she was going through withdrawals. In response, the prosecutor pointed out she has 2 prior DUI/DWI convictions, plus a third one that was pled down to reckless driving, and then the one that we're currently speaking of. They continue, Miss Huger is extremely lucky that neither she nor anyone else was seriously injured or even killed during this incident. In spite of this, Miss Huger does not appear to have taken any steps whatsoever to take accountability for her actions, and I'm sorry to say she has not. On March 19, 2024, in the 9 months leading up to the trial, she did not enroll herself into any type of alcohol treatment program or support group. Instead, the defendant spent 6 days at the Maraval Resort in Arizona. So what happened to this beachside West Palm joint? They're saying she was in Arizona, which her former defense attorneys depicted to the state as a holistic wellness program. Maraval is not a rehab or counseling center of any kind. It is quite simply a luxury spa. I feel like Maraval, did the Real Housewives of New York go there once? It just sounds so familiar, and I feel like they took a trip there for some reason. They said Miss Huger then enrolled in a private recovery program at Beachside Recovery, in West Palm, Florida in January 2025, only after being convicted for the 3rd time of driving while impaired under the influence. Well, because the 4th one was pled down to reckless driving, so that makes the 4. Wow, Karen. She only went after being convicted for the 3rd time of driving while impaired / under the influence. Beachside Recovery is described on its website as a luxury alcohol treatment center. The prosecutors asked the court to give the defendant 2 years suspended, all but 6 months of executed incarceration, so being in jail for 6 months, followed by a period of supervised probation. And that means she'll also probably have to get tested for alcohol, make sure she's not drinking. Maybe she'll have one of those blow things hooked up to her car. Oh man, Karen, this is a mess. In addition, they want her to have an installed interlock. Yep, that's what I was saying. In addition, they want her to have an installed interlock device on any car she drives, complete a Mothers Against Drug Driving victim impact panel, and submit to any additional alcohol treatment programs that the court sees fit. Damn. So that's where it lies, you guys. So we will know Karen's fate tomorrow as she goes on for sentencing. I know if I were Karen, I would not be able to sleep a effing wink. I hope that they give her a report date versus just taking her tomorrow straight back, because that's just so stressful. Oh my gosh. And just thinking about that whole process, I'm like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. But maybe this will be what Karen needs to learn, because obviously the other 3 times it just didn't sink in that this is not something you need to be doing, and they're going to have to, I guess, teach her a lesson, because her lesson wasn't learned on all the other 3 times she was given grace and leniency. So do you give grace and leniency again in hopes that she's not going to do something a 5th time? That's counting on one hand. 1, 2, 3. That would be no. So I really do think Karen's going to get jail time, and it's just sad. It's just a sad situation. I'm like, I don't think Real Housewives of Potomac is going to wait for Karen like New Jersey waited for Teresa. I just don't think that Karen is on that level-ish, but we'll see. They're going to continue on. Karen was not at the reunion. She didn't show up to, face that music. That's not a good look. Yeah, so we will see tomorrow what Karen's fate is. I will see you guys in another video.